The Ship of Doom by M.A. Bennett, Chapter 11, 14th of April 1912 at 9:30 a.m. Of the three time thieves, Aidan was the only one to feel a sensation of relief at being alone. He liked both of his time-traveling companions enormously, but he would have to be careful. He'd so nearly slipped up that morning. So far, he had kept his secret as close to his chest as Constantine kept his clockwork heart. On the railways with Da, he hadn't had to worry. Da already knew who Aidan, and no one else would ever guess. On the railways, all that mattered was that you could do the work. Machines were straightforward, uncomplicated things compared to people. Humans were the ones who were all cogs and trickiness. Luna had already been asking some awkward questions. At least today, he would be safe. Among the pistons and turbines that were the valves of Titanic's great iron heart, he would be with his own kind, engineers. But as it turned out, Aidan found himself not in the engine room, but in the stokehold. And the reason he knew he was in the stokehold was that it was hotter than hell. A man, black with soot, with anxious eyes shining out of his grimy face, collared him as soon as he got through the door. "You a stoker?" Aidan took less than a second to think. "Yes." "Come on then. We need all hands. The fire's still in and now it's threatening to get out of control. Hurry!" "What fire? Where have you been, boy?" "The one that's been burning since Southampton, and for 10 days before that." Aidan was astonished. "We set sail with a fire in the hold?" "Yes." "Why?" "Cost too much to cancel the voyage," the man yelled. "The Olympic is out of commission, so the White Star Line needed at least one of their ships on the seas." "It's enough drawing, come on." There were rows upon rows of black iron stokeholds, burning mouths open like greedy hogs. The heat was unbearable. At each fire hall, a burly man, stripped to the waist, was shoveling coal into the furnaces. Aidan knew, of course, the mechanics behind this. He had seen firemen on trains all his life, shoveling coal to make steam to power the engines. But he'd never seen anything approaching this scale. This was like 1,000 trains at all once, and he imagined the head of steam that was needed to drive the Titanic's enormous turbines and turn her vast propellers. But there was one other crucial difference between this process and all the others he had seen before. In all other settings, the coal had been stacked, black and patient, waiting to be ignited in the heart of the furnace. Not here. Here, the enormous stack of coal was already on fire, glowing like a hoard of dragon treasure, not blazing but smoking ominously. "The coal stacks have been burning for a fortnight," said the stoker. "We've decided the only thing to do is shovel it into the furnaces." "All of it!" Aidan gaped at the black and amber mass. "It's the only way. There's 7,000 tons of coal on board, stacked 3 decks high. If it all catches fire, this whole ship's in trouble. So if you're done talking, get yourself a shovel and help." There was nothing else for it. Aidan grabbed one of a pile of shovels resting against the wall and set to work. He was younger and slighter than the man, although he was as tall as some. He might as well not have bothered stealing his clothes because each layer came off in every short order. First the jacket, then the kerchief and cap. Aidan did make sure to keep his shirt on, and consequently he was dripping with sweat in no time at all. After even a few moments, the heat became unbearable, wedged as he was between the smoldering coal of the belching furnaces. A foreman called a break every 3 minutes for the men to go to an air hole and gust some thin, cool air. Then it was back into the inferno once more. Aidan wanted more than anything in the world to give up, to run away and curl up in the cool of the time train and wait for the others. But he would not give up. He wouldn't. If he gave up, that meant he wasn't as good as these men. And he had to prove that he was. The man who had told him to get to work had disappeared. So he kept his eyes on the stoker next to him, a tall, broad fellow with an eye patch, and did what he did, matching his every action. When eye patch dug, he dug. When eye patch threw his shovel into the stokehole, he did likewise. He and his unwitting companion worked shoulder to shoulder, desperate to make a fire break in the glowing mountain. Even though Aidan was used to work hard, this was the toughest labor he had ever known. He was gasping for breath as the heat baked his lungs. The horrible searing air didn't feel it like it could sustain life. He was soon as black as pitch from head to foot, and the soot stung his eyes. He thought it would never end. He thought he would go mad.